What's up, everybody? Valor Markulis. It is Monday night, April the 29th, the year of our Lord 2019, and I am freaking beside myself with what has been going on in the Game of Thrones world. Holy cow. So much to talk about. Now, I do happen to be in the unfortunate position. These types of streams are, as I've talked about before, always very, very risky streams. Thomas, what's up, my man? How you doing, my brother? Look at Charles jumping in there. I will spoil away this. Always risky doing a stream like this immediately after the the show was over, for sure. But here, hold on just 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I got it like 1,000. Oh, you sweetie. Sorry, I get 1,000 things. We're flying solo tonight because whenever something this epic happens, everybody has a stream about it the next day. And I have my go-to boys, Drunk 3PO, Black Angus, Thomas. You're one of my go-to boys out there as well, and it's an amazing thing. But I do have to split my friends up and lend them out to other YouTube greats, and so there are a couple other YouTube live things going on right now about this very subject. I can't blame them. Really, but yeah, the battle for Winterfell last night, epic, amazing battle going on there. I could not believe what I was seeing, man. I could not believe what I was seeing. It was an amazing, fantastic episode, and it was just on my seat. I think I'm going to have Geeks in Disguise coming on here in just a couple minutes. So he may be able to make it, and we'll have some good stuff. But did anybody out there in the live chat get as worked up as I like? I've never seen a battle sequence quite like this. It was just an hour and a half episode, start to finish. Was an amazing, fantastic, just series of awesomeness is what it was. That's really all I know to describe it as, a big series of awesomeness. And so I was very, very excited about it. So we lost some characters. Some characters came out of nowhere, ended up being the heroes that we did not expect them to be. And there was a lot of I'm telling you, it was very World War Z. It was crazy. There was a lot of character out of these characters, for lack of a better term, a lot of character that was shown last night, and in this episode, and I was just thrilled as could be with some of them. But before we get into it, let's go down and pay tribute to those that we lost last night. Okay, first we lost Ed Tollett, the former commander of the Night's Watch. He rescued Sam, who was getting dogpiled on like twice or three times. Lord Beric, he passed away. He was from the Brotherhood Without Banners. He was actually on Arya's list for a little bit, but he ultimately sacrificed himself for Arya to let her live. And I really enjoyed Beric. The relationship he had with the Hound was an amazing and awesome relationship. I enjoyed Lord Beric very much, and his flaming sword, man. His flames extinguished, whatever. Okay, Lyanna Mormont, the 11-year-old girl, man, with more balls than most. I am here to tell you what. It was Lyanna Mormont was she was crazy. She was not exactly supposed to have that much airtime in this show. but she came out in such an awesome way that it just, I mean, they're like, we can't just leave this girl alone. And she got just a little bit more in season 7, a little bit more, and then all of a sudden they're like, boom, she's got to be involved in this. Liana Mormont, she was awesome. Viserion, okay, this is awesome. So you've got Viserion, who was turned evil after the Night King threw the javelin. Oh, Gigs, what's up, man? How you
doing all right? Doing all right,
man. How, dude, are you surviving after last night, bro? Tell me, like, I was trembling. I think this show gave me some kind of a palsy.
Oops, give me 1 second here. Let me catch up.
You are good, man. No worries at all. And ladies and gentlemen, there in the chat, which right now I think is just D. This is things like this take a lot of time, man. And we gotta keep up with. We got Twitter people writing in and everything, and I'm getting text messages. It's crazy. This is a hot topic here.
Man, I was actually really disappointed last night.
Yeah.
More so, I wasn't mad so much at the episode as I was at HBO for completely ruining the experience. It was the first 40 minutes, I couldn't pay attention to anything that was going on because I was either A, trying to figure out what was wrong with my TV or my cable box. Because I seriously felt like I was watching in 480p upscaled. Because, I mean, it was just awful, dude. The blacks were just awful. And I have a 4K HDR, so it was like chop blocked, blotchy, just you couldn't make out anything. It was so blurry. So I was really taken out of the episode for the first half because I couldn't see nothing. I could just hear,
I can give you that.
So I gave it a big ding for that because it kind of ruined the emulsion of the episode,
from like a not so much a directorial point of view, but just kind of a overall like quality of the show and everything.
Yeah.
But I could back you on that for sure, because I was getting some of the, it looked like some of the dark scenes were a little bit pixelated and everything. No, I can get that for sure. I don't think it was very HD quality last night in the way it was shot for sure. I can back you on that. Absolutely.
And for an episode that HBO promised was going to be the big shebang, like the grandest scale battle in TV history, and the way they were hyping it up, and then you sit down and you're just looking like, what the fuck is going on here? Who's that? Who is this? Where are they going? What is going on? It was just a big letdown. Almost in a way, like it builds that hype and expectation, and then you're just like, I'm completely taken out of the element, dude. I'm really can't just enjoy until halfway through, and I finally got on board, and I'm like, okay, now all the fires are started. They're up above the clouds on the dragons. You can see. I was like,
I think some of that. Actually, to me, as far as to my experience, because I did think about that after it was done, and I felt like. And especially as it was playing, because the first 10 minutes was just like anticipation. It's like nobody even spoke hardly at all. And it was, you're kind of thinking to yourself, what am I staring at? It's just dark. Everybody's around here just hanging out, just kind of preparing. And I was getting really pumped. I was like, it was almost like a horror movie, to be honest with you, just the way they built it up. And then when they finally just kind of went into battle and everything started happening, at the time I was like, man, I can't follow this. I can't see what's going on at the same time. But I had to actually think back on it and think to myself, I may actually be seeing this kind of in the way that the characters were seeing it. You know what I'm saying? But minus the pixelation and everything along those lines, I'm like, how in the hell can anybody even see what's going on out there? I mean, people, regular people that are alive and have a beating heart are, we need torches and fire and everything, some type of light to be able to see what's going on. And these guys in the dark, they don't need any of that stuff. They just run at you and boom, they're there. So
Yeah.
there's part of me, I absolutely feel you on that. There's part of me that seemed kind of let down as I was watching it, but like as I had to think back, I was like, I had to appreciate it to a certain point, thinking to myself, man, that may be what they were actually seeing, is just they weren't able to make sense of what was going on, and they probably didn't even get a full sense of how many people the dead army had until the dragons took off and started blowing half of them up.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of movies before that have worked like a lot with the dark. And I just, like, if you look at this case, the same guys who did the Battle of the Bastards did this. And I'm like, how do you go from just pure epic to just, and like I said, like on a technical level, like I get the balance of using the black to mask CGI, because I know they use a lot of CGI for replication and to mask the armies, but it's like, I think he went just a little bit too dark. There should have been some kind of balance, like either it was right before dusk or right before or right after dusk or right before dawn, some kind of backlighting to, you could have done a backlighting behind a mountain range, but yet left the battlefield dark. Because I think that them going so dark caused that discombobulation with the broadcast quality.
Yep. And I think in the long run, I would probably side with your side a little bit more. Even though on one hand, it's like it gives me a little bit of a view and glimpse into the character's point of view, but at the same time, yeah, I'm paying $14.99 a month for HBO. I want to see what's going on.
Well, and you expect that they dump that kind of money into this kind of episode, and it's like, why were you not using 4K Red at least? Some kind of to air that episode that you've hyped up so much at the best quality possible, to give the viewers that full immersive experience.
Yeah, but I will say the one thing that did save this one especially, because I mean, Battle of the Bastards was one of the best battle scenes ever. I mean, just that one picture of just that one view of Jon Snow facing everybody down. He's all alone in the battlefield, and all those guys on horses riding at him, and he draws a sword. I'll never forget that picture. It was awesome. But the one thing that I will say that this episode, that I think this battle did a little bit better, is evoke more emotion, and it really knew how to. Because I was like scared and antsy a couple times.
Yeah,
and they really played to more of your senses these times. Even though I think the cinematography was not nearly as good, I will say that it drew more emotion out of me from this point, because I'm sitting there looking at how much time's left on the thing. I'm like, the Night King's still alive, and there's only 3 minutes left. The Night King's still alive, and it's only 2.5 minutes left.
I had that moment where when I call it the council, the Night King's council, not just the regular White Walkers, but the long white-haired with the blue eyes. Yep. When they all came trucking through in that group, and then it cut to that one moment, I was like, this is where the episode's going to end. They're going to two-part this because there's not much time left to work with. And it cut black for a second, and then it switched over. I'm like, oh, my God, thank goodness. Cause I would have been mad if they ended right there. But it would have been a cool scene to end on, because you had them coming through in that group, And then they met up with the king, and then they just kind of piled in where Bran was.
Absolutely. Abu Nas is in the chat, man. How's it going, brother? Thanks for stopping by, man. I'm telling you what, I'm surprised, Abu. I love Abu Nas to death, man. He has been battling. He's been battling some health things and stuff. I've been thinking about that guy so much, and he's like I told him before. He's one of my YouTube heroes. He's like the first guy I started paying attention to.
He's hilarious, man.
I'm gonna get this guy in one of these streams, man, because he's a huge Thrones guy and everything. So Abu Nas, I'm glad to see you in here, man. So let's go through real fast one more time our death list for who we lost last night, and let's pour our drinks out to the boys. Ed Tollett, the former commander of the Night's Watch. Lord Beric, he was the Brotherhood without banners and the flaming sword who sacrificed himself for Arya. Lyanna Mormont, the 12-year-old badass who totally stabbed the dude in the eyeball, which the giant eyeball, which kind of to me was a little bit cheesy, but she
I
did
thought
it.
he
I
was
thought
going
it
to
was
eat
pretty
her.
cool.
I really thought he was just going to
Yeah.
chomp on her. Like she came, I thought it was going to be like, snap, there goes the head.
Yep. Viserion kicked the bucket last night. I honestly thought that Jon Snow was going to run up and stab Viserion with dragonglass. I would assume that would kill him just like it would any of the other White Walkers or whatever. But Theon Greyjoy, wow. I'm gonna go off on my little rant about Theon in a little bit, and it's a good rant too.
I
and
think Theon,
you
got it. Go ahead.
And Ser Jorah Mormont. Man.
Yep, him and Theon, I think, were my two most emotionally impacted deaths last night. Because the one went down saving the queen, and the other went down trying to save Bran, and it was, you know, those long journeys they've had. And I do believe now that when Bran was like, "I'm waiting for an old friend," Theon was the one he was waiting for, because, as he said, you know, dude, your actions led you back here where you belong, home. You're at home, you know, and that's. He just went out like a G.
Yeah.
Like I mean,
yeah, I'm telling you, I'm going to go into. I've got a little bit of stuff to go on into on Theon later, but Theon has actually turned into one of my favorite guys, and I'll go into that in a little bit. But I have loved Theon. He went out like a freaking boss, but his story, man, I'm telling you what, his story is a story of redemption. I love screw it. I'll go into it right now. I don't give a rip. This is our stream. We can do whatever we want. Theon, man, that is people in the live chat. You guys can take this to the bank from me. By the way, Papa Jim, I'm glad to see my trusty father-in-law always making it in right here, man. You can always count on. You can take this to the bank. Theon Greyjoy is a story that shows you that in life, it's not about the things that you mess up. It's not about I don't want to say sins you commit or the ways that you hurt people or the bad things that you do. That doesn't necessarily dictate your integrity, but it's how you fight back to make yourself more of a man that really dictates how good of a man you are. And I mean, he really screwed the Starks over in season 2, man. Season 2, I'm telling you what, he really did some bad things, but through all of the things that the Boltons did to him, and all the things that he did to try to even his own family, you know, Yara was ready to walk out on, thinking he was just a big vagina, and he kind of was for a little bit, but he was still trying to find himself and everything. And then, man, I'm telling you what, the last episode 2 of season 8, man, when he and Sansa had their moment together, that was a tearjerker right there, man. I was like, dude, I cannot believe the look that she gave him. I was like, Theon's home. Theon's back, part of the family, and that is how family's supposed to be. That is how you fight back.
Yeah, that moment between him and Sansa was powerful, because it was like, you know,
man, that is how you fight back to become a man.
Yep.
And it was all proven and brought to a head right here, and it was just full body, just full circle. He was resolved, man. I loved it. So the first thing for me that was pretty awesome. First of all, Melisandre, she just rides off at the end of season 7. And all of a sudden, she just pops back in and sees. She just trotted. She just walked in the middle of the battlefield. She missed those 3 billion dead people out there. Where was she at?
I don't know, because the way it looked like they were completely surrounding him, so I don't even know where she came from. She just, there you are on a horse.
It was freaking. I couldn't believe she just rode out there, but it was this is very well done to me too. She got everybody pumped. She caught all of their sabers on fire, and they're just like, it took you back, and you could just see all the sabers just going from one side to the other, just lighting up. I was like, dude, that is so cool. I was
waiting for her to do the unsullied spears too.
I was too. I was looking forward to that too, but they ride off, and then it took a turn for the worse, because we really, especially we saw it from Daenerys' point of view up on the mountain, I'm telling you what, I was hyped about it. And then as you heard their battle cries go quiet, you saw the lights go out, we were actually watching the extinction of the Dothraki people. She took the whole horde with her. She took all the people with her. We were watching
Some of them
them
survived,
and
though,
their people leave. Some of them did survive for the most part, but it was maybe a couple dozen tops with Ser Jorah. But to me, that was really sad as well. I'm like, dude, these guys have been at her side for forever, and she went through hell and high water to get their allegiance twice. And then all of a sudden, boom, they're just gone. It was like build up and tear down. Just like, and that was a very big, a very big look once again into into what the characters were probably thinking. They probably got so hyped up and seeing, dude, look at these flaming swords just going. And where are the flaming swords going? They're disappearing. Oh my God, they're all dead.
I legitimately thought that too until they came running back. But it was so hard to see in those scenes. You could make out a couple of them tearing ass back with the horses, but again, like I say, it was so difficult to tell. So some of them managed to retreat, but it was like, and then I'm sitting here thinking, like, I thought at one point the episode was just like they lost. There was absolutely no way they were winning, because when he came in and we did the whole. And everybody started coming up. I'm like, dude, there's like 100,000 Dothraki soldiers that are just now alive on the, dead on the battlefield that are going to rise up. And
I knew that. And that's the worst thing about the Night King. You fight him and you die, and then you wake up and he's got twice the army that he had before because he's raising all of your dead guys up.
Which I kind of felt was a little boring in a way, because I'm like, that's not really interesting to see somebody who has that power to just raise like that and have an infinite army, because it's like it's never going to end until the other party's wiped out.
That's what I mean. That's the only thing that really highlighted the necessity is, like, you can't fight the army. It's not about fighting the army. It's about doing what you can to get to the Night King.
And I thought the other dragon was coming back. Like when Jon's dragon died, I thought the Night King had a second, dragon. Now I'm like, oh no, like, they're screwed.
That would have been something, man. But in the end, Viserion's sitting there blowing people up, man. He's only got half a face left. You could tell the Night King's dragon was just. Oh yeah. Oh my word! And then, and even Drogon got a little bit chafed right there for a little bit, because those guys were crawling all over him. He had to fly the heck out of there, bro.
I thought he was dead too.
I thought he was going to die too.
Right there. That's a lot of people on him. I thought he was going to fly up, shaking him, and then just ultimately just free fall to earth and just.
Oh yeah.
Dead.
So I'll tell you the other thing that got me totally hyped about this episode too, was all the ties to season 1 that they had. The first thing that goes on is Arya hands Sansa the knife, and Sansa's going back to the crypt, and she's like, I don't know how to use this knife. She says, stick him with the pointy end. In episode 2 of season 1, that is exactly what Jon Snow says when she got Needle.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know how to use this. She's like, stick him with the pointy end. I'm sitting there like, this girl's a badass. Every time she opens her mouth, I find another reason to really like her character.
Yeah.
And then also whenever her and Melisandre later on are together, they're like, hey, Arya, what do we say to the god of death? And by the way, I do have to say, Syrio Farrell, did I say Syrio? Syrio. For Syrio Farrell, man. If nobody ever actually saw him die, because I just rewatched season 1 this past week, and no, you never see him die. You just assume that he's dead. I would love to maybe see him make a grand entrance at one point in time in the last episode or something. Just there's Arya fighting, and then all of a sudden Syrio just comes up and starts sword fighting the crap right next to her. Probably won't happen, but a guy can dream. Whatever.
I like the cat's paw. which has been in
yeah.
the show since the first season.
Mm-hmm.
Because the person that was hired to kill Bran, he tried using it, and then it came into Bran's possession. He then turned it over to Arya. So it was one of those hindsight retrospect things where you're like, did he know? Because I think it was like season 7 he gave it to her.
Yeah, I was thinking that the whole time. I was like, did Bran know that Arya is the one to bring this Night King down? And not only did she bring him down, she literally uncreated him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it sounds weird. She didn't just stick him, she didn't stick him in the shoulder or anything like that. The exact place where he got the dragon glass to make the Night King, the children of the forest made him, pushing the dragon glass right into his heart. That is exactly where he got stuck that second time. And I'm like, did Bran know the whole time that it was going to be Arya, and that's why she gave him the knife, or he gave her the knife, whatever it is. But I thought, it was just sweet redemption that was the knife used to save humanity. Right.
Yeah.
There.
And that's actually my wife got into a dispute at work with the people, and they're like, oh no, she got it with dragon glass. And my wife's like, no, it was a Valyrian steel blade. No, it was dragon glass. It's like, did people watch the episode? Because it's like, I don't think some people actually, like, you stare at it, but I don't think you watched it. Because the moment she pulled that thing out and she dropped it and you saw the hilt, you knew exactly what it was. I mean, it was that Paul dagger that,
Absolutely.
Like, the only dragon glass she had was the detachable spear that she did. And then, well, not a spear, but bow staff with the blades on the end, and the dagger that she gave Arya. So I was like, some people out there, I'm like, y'all need to watch, not just.
Yeah, it was whatever you make her. She was fighting with that the whole time, but she used the actual dagger, the cat's claw, to actually kill the Night King. And from what I understand, I was reading into it a little bit. I think cat's claw's hilt or handle is made of dragon glass, and the blade Valyrian steel. I'm not positive on that. Don't quote me on that.
Let me check it out.
But I thought I saw that, or I thought I would caught a little glimpse of that as I was doing some research into that a little bit. But so yeah, that's unproven at this point. I just heard it from a guy that knows a guy.
It doesn't seem like it, but then again, I could be mistaken. Here, I'll tell you what I can do. We could take a look.
I'll tell you what another thing was in this episode that was kind of a, how you say, maybe didn't really hit me in the feels, but it kind of made you feel a little bit warm inside, is when the Hound got scared.
I didn't like that. I was kind of mad about that.
Well, he got scared, but something shook him out of it. And that was
because the guy told him to, tell that to her. And it was like, if she can do what she's doing, you can do what you're doing. Yeah. Oh, but let's take a look at this picture, because I'm not familiar with you can see here, this is the cat's paw. And I can't tell if that's like exactly if that's actual dragon glass in the handle, or if that's just some kind of like horn of some kind, because it looks like it could be some kind of like horn from a dragon. But
it does. And like I said, I was listening to another analysis. I've listened to like 5 or 6 breakdowns of the episode. And I think I heard somebody talking about that, and I didn't know. Like I said, it was unproven to me. It was the first I'd ever heard of it. And from what I saw in the other episodes of and everything, seeing the actual dagger, I didn't think it was dragon glass myself. But if it had been dragon glass, that'd have been kind of cool, I guess. So tell me, what are your thoughts on Sam? How do you like him as a character?
I love Sam. Sam's one of those, I'm a softie, but yet I'll do what I need to do when I need to do it. He's just that big ball of dough that you can't help but love. And like, he wasn't afraid to get, and I was shocked actually when the episode started and he got in the fight. And I'm like, I figured, considering his intellect and knowledge of the books he's read and stuff at the library and that he would be one to go to the crypts, because if all are wiped out, you know, they're going to need somebody that has that knowledge of the past and everything to teach the future, basically. But when he jumped in the fight, I was like, Ghost.
And I like, see, that's what I was like too. I was like, man, he probably didn't do anything. I mean, he's probably just sitting there like, I don't know if you ever seen Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yeah.
But he's probably sitting there swinging a sword like that character Blinken, like just not even hitting anything, but knows that he has to be there and knows that he is needed for the fight, regardless of, I mean, because they showed that he was scared. And
they did that to a lot of the male characters, actually. And outside of Sansa, I don't really recall them doing that with any of the women. Like Melisandre, the little girl, she ran up, freaking stabbed dude in the eye. You had Arya kicking ass. You had Daenerys kicking ass. And you had so many female entities in this that were actually out there fighting and not afraid. But yet Sam seems scared out of his fucking wits, which, I mean, sorry for the language. You know, I get it's Sam. I mean,
no, you're good.
And then, like with the Hound like that, I was just like
scared.
Man, dude, like why would he punk down all of a sudden? I could see if he went out there and fought a little bit and then got beat up or thrashed and then got scared and then kind of retreated to take a break to collect himself. But it was like you saw him tooling to the front of the line, and then all of a sudden it was like, dude, you're hiding. Come on now.
See, here's the thing. I don't know that it was necessarily the dead people that were freaking him out. He was surrounded by fire. I mean, the only way to stop these guys is, you know, I mean, freaking Melisandre is setting everything on fire. What's she going to set on fire next?
This is why I like doing streams, because I did not think about that. His whole mental issue with fire and his brother burning him and stuff. So now it makes sense. All the fire that was going on around him. Okay. See, now I'm going to have to reevaluate my score because stuff like that, I did not take that into account. And that does make legitimate sense for his character.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm telling you, he's a complex guy because you always see him as being a really, really hard-edged guy with the way he dealt with Arya and everything. But you know that there's more to him because he's pissed about the fact that his face is burned because he was playing with his brother's toy. And that was it. He's like, got that childhood memory that he's sad about and stuff. And then he goes back and works with those, with that convent in season 6 a little bit. And he got softy there, but he's got the ability to connect with people. And I think you get a sense of it throughout the thing, you know? But yeah, that was what I took from that is I didn't necessarily take him as being just a huge vagina surrounded by all these.
And I did it first because I wasn't. That was one of the scenes where you're looking at it like so much going on.
Holy cow!
I didn't pay attention to the fire, you know, being a factor. I was just like, okay, he's just scared.
Oh yeah, but that's. But I'm telling you what, that's still like the fear factor of everybody. That's one of the reasons. Like going back to Sam, that's one of the reasons I've always loved Sam, and especially right now. He popped in there and did what he was supposed to do, even with knowing that he's probably gonna get killed and everything. Just he's a good guy, and I love that character for sure.
Gilly survived, didn't she?
Now were you surprised at how the crypt went? How things went? I think she survived. I'm not positive. I can't remember.
I think she was standing behind the eunuch dude.
Yeah. Whenever they were just kind of all there after everybody dropped.
I was actually disappointed with the crypt scene. We all knew that crypt was a bad idea for them to go to because once the White Walker did his resurrection thing, the people in the crypt were going to come to life, and you know it was just a gut from the inside out. My main gripe with
Give me 1 second. Let me get to Abu.
Okay.
Abu, thanks so much for stopping by, man. I appreciate you hanging out. Can't see you again, man. You be blessed. I hope. Oh no! Hold up. I'm gonna stop it then. I'm gonna stop it. Everybody needs to get my my beautiful face off.
Yeah.
Here we go. Maybe that's working. Is that better? Oh, there we go. Yep. Got to sacrifice my beauty for better audio. Said no one ever. Said, but keep on going, brother.
My main gripe about the whole crypt was Tyrion's kind of touting around where he's like, I need to go do something, somebody could see something that not everybody else sees. He wanted to get back out there and go partake in the battle. And then that started happening with the crypt, but then we find him not really cowering, but hiding behind the crypt with Sansa, and she's holding the dagger. And I'm like, Tyrion, take the dagger and go stab some people. And like, here's your chance to make a difference in the battle. Get in there and just start saving people, because you're the only one down there with any kind of fighting skill and, knowledge of handling a blade. And I was like, he just sat there the whole time. Meanwhile, they're just ripping them off into the dark and killing people. I'm like, dude, it's like, I was kind of let down by that because it seemed like that's what they were building to with this whole, I can be out there, I could be doing something that somebody could, needs and I'm like, no, they need you here. And then that happened, and Sansa was just like, they had a weepy moment. And it kind of reminded me of Man of Steel, where you had the whole weepy kiss moment in the middle of the battlefield with Superman and Lois. And I'm sitting here like, these people are being ripped to shreds around you, but yet here you are behind a freaking crypt weeping on each other. I was like, it's not the time, man. Like,
it was nice. I did like whenever they did have their little moment of banter, and Sansa's like, listen, you got to stare truth in the face. That's one of the most heroic things we can be doing right now.
Yeah.
And then she's like, they talk about their marriage and stuff, and then she's like, you were the best of my husbands.
And I felt they could have handled that earlier in the conversation.
Like, I think so too. I was like, what?
And I was like, why couldn't they just throw that in there then and then have him just at least run out and get a few of them and then, die sacrificing himself to save them in the crypt or get severely injured.
And I was like that. I wish they would have addressed that like way earlier on, because she, there's a lot of hindsight that I think some of the characters just didn't get. Whenever Daenerys was really ripping on Jaime Lannister in the last episode, she's like, "You do realize you killed my dad, right?" He's like, "I'm thinking to myself, you realized your dad was going to incinerate 1 million people at the same time." Even she's admitted that her dad was a monster. Like, what do you expect a guy to do? Really? And then I'm sitting there thinking to myself, Sansa, you're really kind of hating on Tyrion right now, but he kept you from a lot of bad things.
Yeah.
It may not have seemed it at the time, but he didn't violate you. He didn't make any advances on you, knowing that he's one of the horniest guys in the Seven Kingdoms.
Oh, yeah.
He treated her with the utmost respect, knowing exactly who she was, knowing exactly what was at stake and what was going on. I'm like, come on, give the guy a break. He's always treated you with respect, and he deserves a little bit of yours too. But I'm sorry?
I thought you were talking and you got cut off. I thought you got broke up like you're.
Yeah, I get broken up a little bit in here. I have to stream over here in my garage because my kids are very easily woken up. I learned that last week, but it's all good. Now I was wondering maybe if the banter between Sansa and Tyrion. I'm wondering if that may be some foreshadowing of Tyrion. Maybe, do you think he would switch sides to go for Jon? Or do you think he's going to stay beside Daenerys the whole time?
I think he's going to stay beside Daenerys.
Yeah.
He's pretty faithful because especially after that whole thing in the last episode where she challenged his authority and he's still there. Like, he's gonna weather it out. That's what he's good at. He takes and he adapts, and he's going to learn from it, and then he's going to come back a little bit stronger and a little bit more able to provide the intel and knowledge that she needs, and the insight and advice.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. In hindsight, to be honest, he's a terrible advisor. He's made some really crappy decisions, and
sometimes that's what you got to do in life, man. And to learn the best, lessons in life, you have to make those decisions. I mean, it's just
No, you do for sure. You absolutely do. But even Sansa called him on the fact that his allegiance has always been kind of torn or whatever, and that's when I can't remember her name, but Daenerys Interpreter. That's when she got up and kind of huffed off whenever they heard him talking about that stuff. But yeah, that kind of got me thinking a little bit too. It's like, because I don't think nobody knows about Jon being a Targaryen other than her and Jon themselves, and of course, like Bran knows and Sam know, but they haven't made that stuff public or anything. I wonder what that news would do to Tyrion. If he found out that Jon Snow is actually Aegon Targaryen.
See, that's the thing, because I think Tyrion's torn. Not hypothetically. What's the word?
I know the word you're thinking of, and I'm gonna call you at like 3:30 this morning when I wake up and think of the word.
I think he's torn. Like, he's gonna end up torn because he has an allegiance to Stark and he has an allegiance to Daenerys. And then that's the thing. He's going to be conflicted, So, like I said, I don't know how he's going to take finding out Jon Snow's the true heir, because he is loyal to Daenerys, but he is loyal to the Starks as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the end, you have to, honor dictates that you're supposed to be true to the rightful heir, because he knows that, and I believe it too, that, I believe it too, that she would make a good queen.
Yeah.
But I don't think she would make as good of a queen as Jon would make a king, because she's shown herself to be very Targaryen-ish in a lot of the ways that she's reacted, off the cuff. And everything. And honestly, if it wasn't for Tyrion, even though he's made some bad calls, she would have made some worse calls.
And that's why I was thinking, like, it would be an interesting dynamic to see them lead together. Mm-hmm. Screw a rivalry, screw envy and spite. Just, you're both Targaryens. Incest isn't new to your family. Just rule with an iron thumb, man, between the both of you. I mean, if you're going for queen and he's going for king, then why not just be king and queen together?
Yeah. And I think it would be awesome to see that. I honestly, though, I don't predict that will happen. Just because, like I said, she's too Targaryen. Why would anybody want to be on the Iron Throne in the end? Well, the only thing she's like, well, I'm a Targaryen and that's my birthright. Okay, well, good on you, champ. And that's what she's fighting for, damn anybody that gets in her way or anything like that. And now that she's been in love and everything, she's, fallen for Jon and everything. And all of a sudden she's like, wait, you've got a claim to the throne? I don't think I love you anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to treat you a little, it's like she threw all that out the window because, well, she's a Targaryen and this has been her quest for forever. Wait, now you know the truth. Do you have enough honor to stand by the truth? No, not really. But that's my thing. But at the same time, I'm wondering to myself, does Tyrion, because Tyrion knows that she would be a good queen. And I think she would be too. But would Jon make a better king? Because he doesn't want to be king. He never wanted to be king in the North, but he took it because he was bound by honor.
I think Jon would make the better king than she would the queen, because Jon he's the best of both worlds, man. He's the best of Targaryen, but he's the best of Stark.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he has that compassionate level where an understanding, where she doesn't. She's just balls to the wall, power hungry. Like, this is my right. I'm going to take it. And I got that impression with her and Sansa with that scene where she, says, "Was what about, the North? What about Winterfell? We kind of fought for our freedom. We don't want to be allegiance to the Seven Kingdoms." And that's when Daenerys was like, "I'm gonna take my hand back because we're about to have a problem."
Hold my hand, slut. I am not gonna take that at all.
Where Jon would have been like, "Yeah, cool, okay, you fought for your freedom. You want to be your own thing, cool. We'll just, the Six Kingdoms or whatever it might be." Or I think maybe the show should end on a note where nobody's on the Iron Throne.
If the throne were destroyed, that'd be great.
Let each kingdom represent themselves. It's instead of having under one rule, because apparently it hasn't been working.
Yeah,
nobody's
been working out at all. And that's especially kind of what you said. It's like she's just driven by ambition, but he's driven by reason.
Yeah,
and it's like, especially when they first met at Dragonstone, she's like, I'm gonna keep you here until you bend the knee. That's all she could say.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, without saying it, he's trying to say, I'll bend the knee when you prove that you're worth bending the knee to.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm not against it, but you got to show me that your reign's built on something else other than just the same old Targaryen way of doing things. And she's, in my opinion, she's still never done that. She's been peaceful for a little bit, but sometimes her peaceful resolutions has been her second option and not her first. But that'll be interesting. I'd like to see how Tyrion handles the news that she's not the first claim to the throne. So wrapping it all up, I did have one final thing that I read about that I think is going to be very, very interesting to see play out, and that is my Cersei Lannister death prediction. I've called it the last 2 weeks. I believe that Arya is going to be the one that kills Cersei, as well as the Night King. And it was crazy that the Night King died this early. It kind of illustrates, I think, that Cersei is the bigger threat than even the Night King was.
Yeah.
But they revisited Melisandre's prophecy, saying that you'll close many eyes: brown eyes, blue eyes, and green eyes. So I saw a theory today, and I've looked at it myself as well. So she's closed quite a few eyes. She stuck the guy in the throat whenever the Hound was really hungry for chicken. And let me see, she got Walder Frey, and a couple other people down the road. She's been able to do what she needs to do. All those guys have brown eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
The blue-eyed kills, referencing the White Walkers. She hasn't killed anybody with green eyes yet. Guess who has green eyes?
Cersei
Lannister is a green-eyed gal, from what I was able to see.
Was it you or somebody had theorized that she was going to take like Jaime's face or somebody? And
that was me and Drunk 3PO. We've had talks about it too. I think that would be probably what I would see the sneakiest but easiest way is the Hound is going to get in a fight with the Mountain, and they're going to get distracted while Sansa or Arya is able to take the face. But that prophecy kind of solidified a little bit more in my mind that, that may be the right call because of this prophecy being fulfilled in that order of, brown, blue, green eyes that she's going to close, and then boom, stick Cersei in the neck with the knife. That would be awesome if she did it with the knife too.
Yeah. But I'm like, at what point in time is she going to give birth to that baby?
I don't know that baby's going to be a thing. She's not going to be pregnant long enough for that. Or this war is not going to last.
Will it be a bastard baby? that gets birthed, and then somebody kills Cersei, and then that baby kind of goes off into the world like the blacksmith dude that Arya was sleeping with.
That is a very interesting thought because they do have. She does have that maester. Pycelle? No. Pycelle was the first one to the other kings, wasn't he?
The what?
No, Grandmaster Pycelle. Grandmaster Pycelle was earlier, and then she brought in the guy, Maester Luwin. That's his name, who resurrected the mountain, and he does all of his experiments or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he got involved to save the baby, kind of like you said, and just like ship him off somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very interesting thought in its own right. I've never really given that much thought as to what's happened to the baby. I've always just kind of assumed, unfortunately, that the baby's going to end up dying with her.
Perhaps. I mean, it's kind of like the lay of the land with Game of Thrones, where they just have random bastard children running around and heirs to the thrones, and it's like.
And part of me wonders too, would Jaime make an attempt on her life and then remember that she's carrying his unborn child, and then he does what he can to protect her in order to save the baby's life?
But see, we got to remember there's that contract out on him. So, I mean, what if he discovers that she hired somebody to kill him? Then will he just say, screw her and the baby? I mean, if she turned her back on him like that and, he hired that hit, it's.
Yeah. I'm going to look into that a little bit more to see what role the baby would play in her living or dying. So that'll be very interesting. But man, we're going to wrap it up, dude. I appreciate you coming on. You are always clutch and make these really fun.
Oh yeah, you too, man. I love coming on here. I was actually on a stream with Leah, and I was like, "Oh snap, it's 9:35. Bye."
Yeah, maybe later.
But no, I mean, it's stuff like this because I sit here and I think in hindsight after watching, and then like you said, the whole thing with the fire, you made perfect sense in my mind. Now I've got to reevaluate, and I'm probably going to do an afterthoughts review and kind of bring my score up a little bit. But I really want to find a way. I don't know if it's going to have to wait until they do it on Blu-ray. They release the this season on Blu-ray for me to be able to catch that battle again in UHD or high definition, because I just want to know how much badass I missed in that first 40 minutes struggling to try and find what was the problem or see through the dark, because I noticed there was a lot of little moments.
To be honest, I'm going to have to watch it again for that, because for a little bit I was distracted and I had to put myself in the mindset of change my perspective. Like I said, there's it's one of those things where like sometimes you watch a movie that's like a historical movie or whatever, and I start, I'm a very picky person, and I start thinking to myself, oh my God, that's not really the way they do it back in the 1700s and stuff. And I sit there picking through so many things when in the end I'm like, dude, this is actually a really decent thing, and I totally screwed it up by overthinking. I almost got in that mind, and I'm not saying that's what's happening, whatever, but I had to force myself, because I was almost right there, and I had to force myself. It's like, maybe this is just giving us a glimpse of what's happening, regardless of the pixelation, because God, that pixelation and just it sucked. It really sucked, and I was not very pleased with that too. I was complaining about that one as well, but yeah, I'm going to give it one more watch to see if there's anything else that I missed. By the way, I was very awesomely happy to see Ghost right into Battle of Dothraki. And nobody saw Ghost for the rest of the episode, but two things. Number one, he didn't come back as an undead. But also number two, in the teaser for next week, he was in that teaser as well.
I'm going to end on a note with that. I kind of wish they would stop doing them damn teasers for this last season, because I love to speculate. I think it's kind of killing a lot of the hype, because I know a lot of people were like, where's Ghost? Did Ghost live? And then all of a sudden, Ghost lived. Man, thanks for killing that one. Leave us with some air of mystery for the next episode.
I just don't like how they put him in random spots. He hadn't been in 2 seasons. And all of a sudden, he's in this episode or that episode or anything like that. I'm like, he was at, they were at Castle Black, and he was beside John like every episode over there. They did everything together, and all of a sudden, boom, he skips out 2 seasons. What's he doing? Going off and making more direwolf babies. Comes back just for one freaking thing. He's like, peace, bro, and he's out. Whatever. I guess that's what you can do when you're an albino badass.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, I appreciate you coming on. Anybody in here that ever happens to listen to this or whatever, smash that like button. Subscribe to my boy. Geeks in Disguise, and we will see you next week, 9:30, right here. And you want to come on again next week?
You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. You want to come on again?
Oh, yes. I'll be here every week if you have me.
Oh, I love you. All right, boys and girls.